Hey guys, Mrs. Way said you had some questions on yesterday's assignment, Slippery Slopes, talking about writing equations in slope-intercept form. I wanted to go over it with you. I'm obviously not there again today. Hopefully we'll be back on Monday. But I wanted to go over it with you because I think you know how to do it, but I think this format's a little different than we're used to. So I want to give you a couple of examples so that you can do this successfully. It's a great way for us to practice getting ready for our mastery project and for our test that's coming up. So if you look at the directions, it says, given each set of ordered pairs, write an equation in slope-intercept form. When you find the answer in the table, cut out the square with the problem number and paste it in the box with the letter corresponding to the correct answer. So slope-intercept form, oops, I wasn't supposed to write on there, hold on, maybe not. There we go. So, slope-intercept form we know is y equals mx plus b. And if you want to put something in slope-intercept form, you know that you need two things. You need, what are the two things that you need? All right, that's right. You know that you need the slope and you need a y-intercept. And if you look at problem number 1, you have 2 points. You have -3, 1, and you have 0, -8. So right here. See that? So do you have a slope? No. But can you find one? Yes. Do you have the y-intercept? In this problem, you actually do. If you look right here, watch this. Whoa, isn't that amazing? Okay, if you look right there, 0, -8 is actually the y-intercept. And if you don't remember that, if you look at if we were to graph it, and we were to go over 0, down 8, that would be about right there. And that's where it crosses the y-axis. And so that would be our y-intercept. So we can actually find the slope using our slope formula. Does anybody, oh, I just lost that. Does anybody remember what the slope formula is? All right, the slope formula is, say slope, is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we can take our 2 points, plug it into the slope formula, and find the slope. So I'm going to figure out how to get to the next slide, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, hold on. Okay, so I think we've figured this up. So we want to go to the next slide. And when I do that, you'll see that I already put out here the problem from, oh, that's not working. The problem from the worksheet, problem number 1. And we know that we want to put it in slope-intercept form, which is our y equals mx plus b. And we know that the first thing we said we had to do is we have to find the slope. So we know that our slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. When I do that, I'm going to make this 0.1, I'm going to make this 0.2, just to make it easy so we're all on the same page. When I plug it in, I have y2 minus y1, which would give me -8 minus 1. So I'm going to plug in -8 minus 1 over x2 minus x1, which would be 0 minus -3. So 0 minus -3. We know that on the bottom, minus a negative turns into a positive. So if we go ahead and solve this, we have -9 over 3. And if we reduce it, we know that our slope is -3, because -9 divided by 3 is -3. So we know that we have our slope, so we can plug it in here. Y equals our slope, which is -3, x, and then plus b. And we said on the last slide, back here, okay, I tried to go back to the last slide. It didn't work. Otherwise, I was going to lose the whole thing. So we had said that our y-intercept is this 0, -8. And we plotted it and showed you why that was. So since the y-intercept is -8, we're going to have -8. So the equation in slope-intercept form would be y equals -3x minus 8. Okay, so you'll see that I pulled up the other side of the worksheet, which are all of the answers, where it says answer and then letter. So if we look here, we have our, here we go. We have our equation here, and that matches up with this one here, which is y equals negative 3x minus 8. So we know that problem number 1, the answer is k. So I'm going to flip the page and I'm going to show you what that means. Okay, so since the answer to number 1 is k, what that means is I'm going to take this number 1 and cut it out, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to paste it right here where k, okay, that's really pretty, but right here where k is. And obviously we're building a puzzle. Obviously you can probably do the puzzle without doing the math, but that's not the point of what we're doing. And then after you would do that, you would go ahead and you would move on to problem number 2. Or 3 or 4 until you finish through the whole thing. Now sometimes you're going to have a problem where it does not give you the y-intercept. So let me show you an example of that. Okay, so if you look at problems 7 through 16, you'll see that you don't have a point, or you don't have a slope, and you don't have a y-intercept. And we're still trying to put it in the slope-intercept form. But you do have 2 points, so we can turn it into slope-intercept form if we use the point-slope form. And if you recall, point-slope form, you see that trying to come down? All right, point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Where you have to find the slope, and then you have a point so you can plug in x1 and y1. So if we look at, if we look at number 7 here, we'll go ahead and work through that one. All right, so if we look at problem number 7, we're going to go ahead and take that and we're going to put it in, I'm going to make it a little smaller, we're going to put it in point slope form. So we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we don't have the slope, so we do need to find the slope. We know our slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I gotta tell you, it's very difficult writing with this little pen on the iPad. Anyways, random thoughts. So let's plug it in. This is going to be my point 1. This is going to be my point 2. So I'm going to plug in y2 minus y1, which is 7 minus 4, over x2 minus x1, so that's going to be 2 minus 1. And when we subtract, we have 3 over 1, or my slope is 3. Excellent. Makes sense so far? So we know that we can plug that in here for m. Now we have our x1 and our y1. We said, I'm going to change the color here. Maybe. There we go. Let's go back with blue. Okay, so we said that this is our point 1 here, negative 1, 4. So we're going to plug in our x1, which is 1. We're going to plug in our y1, which is 4. So if I take that, get that out of the way, and I rewrite it, I now have y minus 4, because I plugged, obviously, this in here, equals the slope 3 times x minus x1, which is 1. So this actually would be point slope form right here. And that's what we were doing 2 days ago when we were taking our 2 points, finding the slope, using one of the points to put it in point slope form. So y minus 4 equals 3 times x minus 1. But am I trying to put it in point slope form, or am I trying to put it in slope intercept form? That's right, we're trying to put it in slope intercept form. So, hopefully somebody said slope intercept form. So what we're going to do, let's go with orange, is we're going to go ahead and just manipulate the numbers and the letters so that so that we can get it into slope intercept form. So I know that the first thing I want to do is distribute here and here. So I'm going to have y minus 4 equals 3 times x gives me 3x minus 3 times 1 gives me 3. Still not in slope-intercept form because I know in slope-intercept form I'm trying to get y all by itself, trying to isolate the variable. So we have to get rid of this 4. It's y minus 4, so we're going to use the inverse operation. We're going to add 4. And if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. When I do that and I rewrite it, I now have y, oh my goodness, have y, and then negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So y equals 3x, and then negative 3 plus 4 gives me plus 1. So in slope-intercept form, I have y equals 3x plus 1. Okay, so we're working with problem number 7. And we said that the answer to number 7, we said this was number 7. The answer to number 7 is y equals 3x plus 1. So if we look at our little answer sheet, hopefully you can see it, and you look down here, you have y equals 3x plus 1 is O. See that? So what we're going to do, move that over here. Anyways, move my little green box. What we want to do is now, before we had K was already colored green, right? Because our number 1 was the answer K. I think so. So here we know that for number 7, the one that we just did, the answer is O. So we're going to take number 7, we're going to cut it out. Noises are definitely necessary. Cut out number 7, and we're going to paste it here on letter O. Does that make sense? I hope so. So what I want you guys to do, I want you to continue working through this and work with your tables so that you guys can talk through how to work, especially through point slope form, because that's the newest one. We'll review again on Monday, but I do want you guys to work on this today and see what you can get through. Couple of things. Make sure that you're showing your work, thank you, right, on a separate sheet of paper. And then the second thing that you can do, because the second thing that I want you to do is take the small box, the one with all of the letters on it. I want you to cut that out. And glue it on a separate sheet of white paper so you don't have like holy paper when you turn it in. So cut out the letter box and glue onto a plain piece of binder paper, plain piece of white paper. Mrs. Way has that. All right, I am going to collect it on Monday. And that's what I want you to work on today in class, and then also over the weekend for homework. If you have questions, you can email me. But hopefully this helped explain it a little bit better. It's, like I said, stuff that we've been working on. It's not super easy. But it's stuff that, at least while I'm out, something that you guys have seen, that you've learned a little bit, and that you just really need the practice. That's what's going to help you get better with it. Okay? Hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday, and be good. Bye.